Hey there, I'm Carmen.
And I'm Kristine. We're so glad you're here.
You can find links to connect with us in the show notes. So let's get started. Hey, Kristine.
Hey, Carmen.
Hello, listeners and watchers.
Hey, everybody. So good to see you today.
Yes, yeah. Spring is sprung around here.
It has. It has.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful and just, we get that little bit of spring and then all of a sudden it's, in the 90-degree
Yeah,
temperatures and
yeah. Right,
so we're
right.
just enjoying where we are right now and just a little bit of um beautiful weather to be able to get outside and enjoy the
Yeah,
sunshine.
yeah. I have a little garden, y'all, and I have harvested a cucumber and a yellow squash. So I'm just on cloud nine. You think I had a baby?
So awesome. That is so awesome. I'm not gonna say jealous. I know we're not supposed to be jealous, but let's just say I don't have a green thumb. So I appreciate very much you sharing about your squash and your cucumber.
If we had to eat only what I grew, we'd starve, but it's fun to do anyway. Very relaxing and rewarding. So y'all get out there and grow you a mater, as my grandpa used to say, grow you a mater. Well, Kristine, today our topic is how to be still when life isn't calm. And man, oh
Yes.
man. And
Yes.
that verse we decided to use to support that is Psalms 46:10. And we're going to use the English Standard Version for that. So let me read that to y'all. Be still and know that I'm God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. Exclamation point. So, Kristine, what does it mean to you to be still?
Oh, I'm just constantly learning in this area. So I just want to have full disclosure right here from the beginning. I told Carmen, you guys, when we got on here, I'm actually wearing a shirt that says "Be Still." You can't really see it on the video, but I think it was a mistake to put on this shirt because as soon as I put on the shirt, everything went into chaos around my house this morning. So it was a little test to see if I was ready to talk about this
Right.
topic. But, how do we do that? When I thought about how to be still when life isn't calm, that's the first thing I thought of was, well, first we need to understand what it means to be still.
Mm-hmm.
And I really thought I had gotten a handle on that.
Yeah.
I when I thought to myself, what does this
Mm-hmm.
mean? I know
Mm-hmm.
what God means to be still. He
Mm-hmm.
means that I'm not supposed to worry. He means I'm
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be at peace. And I just had my own idea of this, but I wanted to dig into scripture and really study it
Mm-hmm.
because I think that's important.
Right.
And as I did, the Holy Spirit really taught me even more, just opened my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I realized I didn't know everything there was to know about
Oh.
being still. Imagine that, right? So just wanted to be honest with you guys today. But it was interesting because when you look at the original Hebrew definition for being still,
Mm-hmm.
it means literally to cease or to slacken. It can
Mm-hmm.
also mean to leave something alone, to let go of, or to let something drop or hang
Oh.
limp.
Mm-hmm.
And that was very telling to me because being still quite literally meant God was telling me to sit there and not do anything. Stop doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was interesting as well that so many of those definitions in there seem to relate to how we would hold on to a rope. If we're
Yeah.
pulling and tugging and keeping it taut and really using our own strength, this
Mm-hmm.
is telling us to give it some slack, leave the rope alone, let go of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so many times I've struggled with this over the years. And have you ever heard that saying, let go and let God?
Yes,
I've
yes.
heard that so many times. And yes, it's true. But for some reason, I just didn't like it. And maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's because I struggled with it
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear that. Don't tell me let go and let
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
because I'm constantly having to remind myself to let God handle certain situations and to let
Mm-hmm.
go of it and not,
Mm-hmm.
get in God's way, so to speak.
Right.
So in the process of studying this, what I realized is important for me was to change my mindset in
Mhm.
order to be able to really be still when
Mhm.
there's chaos going on around me, when life isn't calm. Instead of saying to myself, I need to let God handle this, I needed to change that to let God have this. I needed
Mm.
to completely let go of it and say, Lord, I am letting you have it.
That's
So
good.
that's my advice today for how to be still. What I'm learning is instead of letting God handle it, let him fully have it, the whole thing. I
Yeah.
don't need to try to help him out.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh gosh. Sometimes I feel like he needs our help sometimes, Christine.
All the time.
All the
How
time.
would God make it without me interfering, right?
I know
Oh.
somewhere I get confused. I'm junior God. Oh my gosh.
So,
Oh,
yeah, so that's what I would say, and I think it's interesting too that the Israelites at the time, when they were singing this psalm, they would do the same thing. And it even says in the expositor's Bible commentary that for the Israelites, it was tempting for them to ally themselves with foreign powers or to
mhm.
use military might to try to
Yeah.
get things done.
Mhm.
And they had to learn as well, just like we do, to persevere in being still and letting
Yeah.
God have
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Connecting themselves to foreign powers. Oh my goodness. All throughout the Old Testament, you see that. And it
Right.
rarely worked out. Rarely worked out,
So
you know.
true.
So true. So
So what do
true.
you think when you hear that, be still? What would you say would be good for what that means or how we could like truly internalize that?
Yeah. Well, when I was reading that in the New Living Translation, when it says the part of the verse where it says, "Be still and know that I'm God," there's an exclamation point. Where in the ESV, they wait to the end of the verse. And the NLT puts it right up there in the beginning. And I thought, this is really like a command. He's not suggesting that we do it. He's saying you must do this. There's an
Mm,
intensity to it. God is firmly saying, be still. It's almost like he's saying, get a hold of yourself. I mean, get a hold of yourself. Do not forget that I am God. Remember that I'm God.
yeah.
I'm the God of the universe. So I think one of the things that I like to do when I want to be still and things are going is I need to remember that he tells me to be still.
Mm,
That this is a command and that I must be still. So when I was looking at that through this whole process of research, I thought, what does a boat do when they're in a storm? I mean, that's a chaotic thing. We remember about Paul being in some storms and the
hmm.
disciples being in some storms. Well, what does a boat need to do? What does the captain of the boat need to do when he's in a storm? And there's a bunch of them, but I want to pick out a couple of them. One of them was get your safety gear on. And I thought about
Ooh,
equating that to our armor of God. We've talked about that in
yes.
a lot of our episodes where we've talked about different pieces of the armor and how to use those. Get your armor on, keep your armor on. That's your safety gear. Another one they talked about was closing the hatches and the windows. And I thought about that as protecting our mind, protecting our heart. Don't fixate on the part of the chaos. Don't
Yeah.
fixate on the chaos. Take control of it. Take your thoughts captive. Boy, we talked about that. And then slow down and look for a safe harbor. There's our be still. Slow it
Hmm.
down, be still, and then look for our safe harbor, which would be God. Let's look to him. Let's remember that he is God.
I love
And
that
that's
you
that.
brought, yes, I love that you brought that in about the full armor of God, which we have talked about. And that's a constant thing, that
Yeah.
we have to put that on every day. And it's good that you reminded us of that because I often think that when I put on my full armor, it's because I'm going into battle.
Yeah.
But that battle doesn't always mean I'm running, head on
Mm-hmm.
into the war.
Yeah.
Sometimes it means I'm putting it on and protecting myself, but I am being still and letting God fight that battle for me. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's important that we make that
Yeah.
distinction that sometimes even though we're putting on our full armor, we're
Mm-hmm.
still backing off and not stepping in and trying to solve the problem ourselves.
Right, right. That's a protective. Our gears protects us. It's our safety gear,
Yeah,
like a boater would have. It's our safety gear.
right.
Um, and it's important. It's important to remember that this is not just defenses; it's offensive. All of those things. If you go back, y'all, and look at the armor of God, I think that's in Ephesians 5. I think
Is it five or six? We'll put it
five
in
or
the show
six,
notes.
5 or 6. Yeah, look that up. You need
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And also, as you mentioned about the boat, which is so perfect for Psalm 46,
Mm-hmm.
because when you look at back at verse 3, it says, though its waters roar and foam. So this
Mm-hmm.
is exactly what they were talking about when life isn't calm around them, when
Mm-hmm.
the waters are raging. And it
Mm-hmm.
mentions there's other mentions of the mountains and different aspects of nature that
Mm-hmm.
can be very forceful.
Yeah.
And, I envision our lives today as sometimes there's chaos going on in the world, but sometimes
Mm-hmm.
that chaos is in our home, around us. Either
Mm-hmm.
way,
In our mind.
in our mind, oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever the case, I think if we go back and read the whole of Psalm 46,
Mm-hmm.
then we get an even stronger grasp of what it means to be still and know that I am God. And when we continue on with that verse, that he says, I am exalted, I
Mm-hmm.
will be exalted. I'm the one.
Right.
It's all for me. It's all because of me. And that's
Right.
important for us to remember too, because it can be prideful to think that I'm going to be able to fix this
Yeah.
on my own without God's
Yeah.
help.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
sometimes I need that reminder from him, that firm reminder, like you said, that's a command, not just a suggestion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. I agree.
So
You got a tip for us today, don't you?
I do. I do. We like to end with something concrete that we can do. And there's something that I wanted to share as we were studying this that um, something that I had implemented
Mm-hmm.
was going through the psalm. You can pick any psalm, but for today's purposes, we could start with Psalm 46 and look for all of God's attributes that you can find within that psalm.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not familiar with that word attributes, it basically just means all of the qualities or like an inherent part of a person. So
Mm-hmm.
God's qualities, you could say. This is not something that I came up with on my own. I'll just give a little shout out to the First Five app by Proverbs 31 Ministries. That's where I heard it suggested to do this.
Yeah.
And I had done that for Psalm 46. So as we were studying this, I had a list of God's attributes that are talked about in Psalm 46. So I'll just give you an example. The first one on my list is that God is my refuge.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't give you any more than that. I'll let you create your own. But once you do that, once you go through and list out all of God's attributes that are talked about in Psalm 46, you'll have your own resource to look back on and help you when you know that you need to practice being still and knowing that He is God when life isn't calm.
Yeah. Absolutely. Man, that's a good tip. That's what's going to help you be still
Right.
is understanding God's character, his nature, his
Yes.
qualities. Yeah.
It
Yep.
it was helpful to me, and
Mm-hmm.
so I believe it will be helpful to all of us as a practice to get into, and you can do it with any psalm, but I would say to start there with Psalm
Yeah.
46.
Right. Right. Well, Christine, this was a good discussion today. I enjoyed it.
Yes, me
Uh,
too. Always a
these
good
are
reminder.
Yes. Yeah. If chaos is not affecting you personally right now, it's affecting the world
Yes.
in general right now. Well, I don't know, probably till the end of time it will be
Yeah.
affecting the world. Good tip for us. Good discussion. We're so glad that y'all joined us today.
Yeah, we're
Thank you.
happy to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. We'll see y'all again in a month when we're
Mhm.
together. A couple of weeks with me and a month when we're together again.
That's right.
Bye y'all.
Bye.